Hello to everyone watching out there at Sonic Paradox. It's a rather unexpected stream. Um, Needless to say, there's been some big news that has come out in the last hour or two. Um, and of course, it definitely seems to me like the news tends to be um, less so. Well, it's definitely Sega related, but it's not from Sega themselves. It's actually from various sources in relation to the THQ auction that was supposed to be taking place. We may be now learning the very first rumors that consist of the outcome of this auction. And from what is being confirmed at this time, here are the details now as I know it. Currently, it has been confirmed that Sega has appeared at the THQ auction to bid on possibly acquiring Relic Entertainment. Now, Relic Entertainment, if you aren't aware, they are a company that produces the Warhammer series, notably the Warhammer 40K series. I do believe the original Warhammer games weren't actually were already owned by Sega. Like Sega already got the license to that. I do believe they also what is it? There's another franchise that they also managed to obtain. They may obtain rather. Yeah, Space Marine. The recentish Space Marine third-person shooter. That is essentially what Relic Entertainment has. It's notable. Nothing. There's nothing hugely critical at this time about the whole Relic deal going on right now, because that's all we know in terms of Relic themselves. That Sega is currently at the auction to debate, and to possibly bid on getting Relic Entertainment. However, it has been recently discovered in the midst of this whole thing that Sega's finances were actually better than we thought. And if you guys have remembered in the past year, Sega had done a lot of layoffs. They did a big restructuring and everything. And as far as we knew, we thought it was a sign that Sega was in very, very bad shape. However, as it turns out, there has been a report on key statistics in cash and debt that certain companies, third-party companies have, that has been in its current state at the moment. And apparently, Sega Sammy, which is essentially who owns Sega, at least the parent company of Sega, they are actually in a lot of money right now. More money than EA, Take-Two, Ubisoft, and Square Enix. All four of those companies have less money than Sega right now. Ubisoft has only $181.49 million in their stash right now. But their debt is even bigger. Literally, Ubisoft is in a negative state right now. Activision is really the only company that's in a decent state. They have $3.36 billion cash, but no debt. Obviously, it's because of Call of Duty. Sega has the biggest debt out of all the companies, but the thing is that they have more money than those same companies. It absolutely baffles me as to where did this come from? Like, for one thing, where did this come from? And two, how do we not know about this? Where did Sega get all this money from? Did they have it this whole time? When this restructuring take place, did they have all this money? Like, what happened behind the scenes? What was not known? Needless to say, I'm really shocked. I did not know. I don't think any of us knew that Sega was at all in a better state of mind with money than we initially thought. As far as we knew, Sega was in a bad financial slump. But this confirms that, in fact, Sega's not in a financial slump. They're actually doing okay. Would this purchase be considered as a possible gamble? I don't know yet. To remember that Sega, at first the rumors were that Sega had already bought Relic Entertainment. However, it's starting to change into it's changed to Sega is at the THQ auction to bid on it. We don't know if the bid had been retracted. We don't know if the bid, you know, has been trumped by any other companies. We don't know. All we know is that Sega is there to seek bidding. We don't actually know if they, what they bidded or anything. All we know is that they are interested in bidding. I really can't say for sure what will become of these, what will become of these games? Like, what will the Warhammer series be like? What will those the other franchise I've already forgotten the name of. What will happen with that? What is going to become of these two games franchises? The fact that Sega has the Warhammer series now, the original one, is a big obtaining. The fact just if the Warhammer characters don't appear in some way in a Sega game in the future, I'll be shocked. But I am firmly convinced though that Sega is very capable of doing that now. The fact that Sega actually bought these, like, something had happened in the aftermath of last year that made made it possible for them to do these purchases, because obviously they didn't have, obviously the restructuring did something. Like, what? Now it's now to the point where the restructuring may not have been necessarily because of money. It may have been because they had a different motive for it. It may not have been because of money. I at this point am uncertain. I am really, really uncertain now what is going on. Now, is $2 billion, something to brag about? No, it isn't. It's nothing to brag about. I don't think that's really, enough to say, Sega can make a console, or, Sega can make a Dreamcast. I'd say that amount is substantial enough to indicate that Sega is by no means going to go bankrupt anytime soon. At no means is Sonic going anywhere. Sega's doing just fine on their own. They haven't had as bad of problems financially as initially thought. Now, still, this doesn't consider the fact that, maybe there's still more that we don't know. Maybe, who knows? I just don't know. All I know is that Sega is currently considering, apparently, it looks to me like Sega also has more money than Namco. Sega also has more money than Namco. This has just been confirmed. Sega now it is now confirmed that Sega has even more money than Namco. It has just been confirmed. It has just been confirmed. I'm shocked, but indeed it has been confirmed that Sega also has more money than Namco. Let me scroll back to that, one again. Yeah, okay, so Sega Sammy has 2.02 billion. Yep. They indeed do have more money than Namco. I cannot believe this. I literally cannot believe this. Sega has more money than even Namco. I literally cannot believe this. It is absolutely, positively shocking. Oh my god. I, I, I just don't get this. Like, where did Sega get this money from? Like, why is it suddenly, you know, it's not doing bad at all. And this thread has just erupted in a... God, I better look through this thread. Okay, it has now been confirmed that Sega is in the leading position to get Relic. So that means that essentially Sega is the #1 company that's being considered to get it. So it's been confirmed that Sega is in the leading position to acquire Relic. So it's wow. Sega is currently in the leading position at the moment. Again, this means that it's not that, you know, I cannot, like, I'm shocked. I am downright shocked. I cannot believe this. And I'm just seeing, like, an entourage of, you know, tweets and everything coming out. Holy crap. I'm just... I cannot believe this. With Sega having more money, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, maybe Project X Zone being sent over to Worldwide might have been because of Sega. I don't know. We may never know this. I'm just shocked. But yeah, it would figure that someone's tweeting me, wanting me to mention the debt that Sega has. I should clarify that although Sega does have the highest debt out of those companies, that despite this, the other companies have pretty sizable debts too. They also have multiple millions in debt as well. So although Sega does have biggest debt. It's not the only debt, and it's not. They don't have small debts either. So by no means does this consider the fact, you know, that Sega may be in debt, but I should clarify, we thought it was worse than this, you know? We didn't know that Sega had $2 billion, you know, in income and all that. We didn't know that. I just can't believe that. So, you know, it's just if Sega did get Relic, that would be big for the company. The amount of, you know, Sega currently has Creative Assembly, Sports Interactive, you know, licenses to their franchises and all franchises apparently. So if they got, you know, Relic's stuff, it's big. Sega and Capcom, I don't know yet. I don't see anyone having the amount of money that Capcom has. But I am still working my way through the thread, so I may run into some more posts indicating that, you know, we will be hearing more about what's going to happen tomorrow. There will be there's a sales hearing tomorrow that will have the results. I'm just making tweets. I'm just getting, you know, retweets everywhere. Holy crap. But I am continuing to look through this thread because it seems like there's a lot of very you know, we'll see. Okay, it's been confirmed that Activision Blizzard is not interested in the game or the company. Let me see if I can find that original tweet. Gotta look for this tweet, but I don't think I can see it anywhere. So, but it has been confirmed that apparently Activision Blizzard, essentially the people that, you know, do Call of Duty, if I recall correctly, they don't have interest in the company. Currently, EA, Ubisoft, Sega, and Warner Brothers are in the running. So, THQ sources indicate Ubisoft has emerged as a contending bidder for certain THQ assets. That doesn't include what Sega is looking for, so don't jump to conclusions just yet. These are certain THQ assets. Remember that THQ has quite a few assets, so these may not be including Relic. We're really looking at this, but apparently, yep, these are secondhand reports that all this information is coming from. I'm just, my God. They mentioned that the money is owned by Sega Sammy, not just Sega. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, that Sega Sammy is not Sega, purely. It's just Sega Sammy, Sega's parent company. But the fact that Sega Sammy has, that much money in reserve means that Sega is okay for now, It means that Sega's got, some breathing room. More breathing room than we initially thought. But I don't think, per se, Sega may be in bad shape, but I think with Sega Sammy, they're still... Sega Sammy is giving them breathing room, which is, again, like I said, better results than we initially thought. So I really don't think it is safe to say that Sega is personally still in the shitter, because this isn't, I wouldn't say this isn't their money per se, but I wouldn't say, I'd imagine that Sega and Sega Sammy do share some of the funds to a degree, but I really don't know at this point. But I will say this much: Sega Sammy is definitely doing a better help than we initially thought. Even if Sega has none of this money is Sega's, I'd still say that that's pretty damn huge. I'm just looking at stuff now. I'm just looking at the continuing saga going on here in this thread. I'm trying to skim through this, because this thread is just erupting in posts, because yeah, I'm just looking through the posts here, because it seems like they're all secondhand results. Yeah, they have a better reserve than we thought they did, Massive updates. JN Twitter. I'm pleased to announce that Moby Dick has been bidding on a certain THQ franchise. Can you guess which? Sony made a great acquisition at the THQ auction today. We bought the U-Draw franchise and 100,000 unsold U-Draw tablets for just, wow, $342.56. So the U-Draw Sony brought the U-Draw franchise. I don't even what? What? I just good God, I don't know what to make of that. But I'm still taking a gander through these. I really need to catch up on these posts. Okay, so the 9 a.m. I don't know if that's Eastern. Let me see. I'm guessing that time zone would be Pacific, but I want to, be clarified on this. So, no, wait, there's a big tweet that's going out. Okay, so, there's a rumor going around now that Ubisoft has bought the South Park game franchise. Apparently the South Park video gaming sector of THQ's rights have gone to Ubisoft. Now, I don't know what else has been. Okay, it's South Park Studios or something like that. I don't even know. I'm just reading the last of these posts, and then, okay. So, I do believe I've caught up, finally. Now, I don't know when the next post will be. I'd really like these time zones to be, let me see, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9. So this must be based in the UK or something, the site. I'd imagine. I'm going to have to keep a close eye out on posts, but I've essentially caught up on posts now. Nothing new that has appeared. So, good God, I just can't believe all this news pouring out. I should clarify that nothing I've been relaying has been 100% confirmed, because most of this ends up is just there's always a chance that this stuff could be false after all. I mean, at first we thought, hey, Sega bought them, but now we know, as we got more information, that in fact it may have been just the fact that they're there considering it and trying to bid on it, but we don't know that they've actually gotten it. It has not been confirmed yet that, we won't know the exact scale of who bought what until tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow, within at least the first half of tomorrow. It may be revealed while everyone's focusing on the Nintendo Direct conference that's supposed to be taking place tomorrow. Now, I just don't know right now, like, what else to consider, but there's no denying it that I just don't know. But there's been there's been news just pouring out right now on what like, we're getting. This is mostly like accounts from people that were there tweeting, for the most part. That's where most of the information is coming from. So some stuff is actually more valid than others, because like I said, we're getting like accounts from witnesses who are there, who are hearing what's going on. But from what we've been hearing so far, not a whole lot has been, released. So we may not actually know. For this whole thing is going to be going for quite a while, I'm sure. But it sounds to me like Sega may very well be getting rather fortunate here. However, I just don't know at this time. Have they actually gotten to Relic yet, or have they already passed it? That I don't know. But what I do know is that apparently, things are getting rather critical right now at this juncture. I'm currently looking on Twitter to see. Yeah. I just don't know right now. I just don't know right now what's going to happen. But I think it's time that I look up more information on what's going on with Relic and see some information there. Okay, yeah, the high bid for Relic in the THQ auction is currently Sega. So that means, so now we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Sega actually has the highest bid right now. So I do believe we now know a little bit more information So we now know that Sega is the highest bidder. So we now know that they've bid. Now I don't know. Now I don't really have like, you know, what's going on right now. Like, come on, is there anything else that's come out yet, or is this auction really that slow paced at the moment? Needless to say, I don't know, but it sounds to me like things are getting really. Like, there was an avalanche of information that was occurring earlier today, but or like about, right around the point when I started streaming was when the information was pouring in, but now it's dried up now that I've gotten through all the details. Let me see if I can find out anything else on what Sega's doing with THQ's thing. Excuse me. I don't think there is. So, whatever's been going on for Relic, I think they've gone past that. Either they've gone past that, or they have actually, yeah. Um, Now, but yes, I do want to clarify that the whole leading position thing seems to have been like, you know, people are still asking me what's Relic. There we go. Alright, now I'm just, yeah, we're, yeah, I really don't know. I really don't see, like, Yeah, there's already like there are frequent posts, but it's like nothing worth noting. So I think they are taking like a break in the auction or something. So but I don't know at this time. All I know, like, I may actually go ahead and end the coverage momentarily. I'm not sure, because I don't know what's going to be coming out next, so I'm keeping a close eye out. If there's any breaking news, you can definitely be certain that I will was it relay it to all of you as soon as it comes out. Now, whether I will actually be able to stream that is I don't know, but I can tell you this much: there are, you know, there's definitely, the way it's looking, going to be more news on this whole thing very soon. I just don't know what is going to happen next. There has not been very many, like, but I don't know. Let me see. Okay, yeah, Coach Media from Deep Silver, that does Deep Silver, is currently in the lead for Volition. In other words, they're the leading bidder for that. So it's definitely looking like, indeed, Sega's in the leading right now for Relic Entertainment. Now, I don't know what is going to follow, but this is definitely big news. But what I don't understand is why Sega doesn't just, like, if Sega really did have that good of a reserve, I would probably, I would expect Sega to, be more open about this. Like, but then again, maybe there's some security reasons why they don't announce this stuff. Maybe, I don't know. All I know is that Sega definitely didn't want people to, I guess know this, but from the looks of it, it got leaked anyway. So it's saying a lot when even Sega's money reserves are not really able to be kept secret before it gets leaked. So I don't know, but in any case, this does bring up a good point someone just posted. Someone says, let's assume Sega buys Relic. Does that necessarily mean that Sega will be able to get Company of Heroes 2 as well? Or would they have to bid on the Company of Heroes IP in order to get Company of Heroes 2? Would it be possible to have some weird scenario where Sega gets Relic, but somebody like EA ends up with rights to Company of Heroes 2? That is a good question. That's a good question, but I don't know. But it definitely seems to me like, who knows? But let me see. Yeah, that's a good point. If there's any games that were currently being worked on by the company, and Sega gets their rights to them, then Sega will already, have some work done on the game, and that means less money spent, and that means they may be able to get some positive money out of that. Now, does this mean that it's going to happen? I don't know. Someone said in reply that that is a possibility, but is probably an unlikely one at this point, which I do think is the case. I really don't think Sega is going to get Company of Heroes 2. They might. I really don't know at this point. All we've really heard so far is that Sega wants Relic. That's all they've said. Just Relic. It definitely sounds to me like, it may be Sega's only interest right now, but I really don't know at this time what's going to happen. But oh, jeez, it's just been a long day. Excuse me. But we will have to see what's going to happen in the next 24 hours or so, maybe 12. Like I said, Nintendo's Direct conference may be a big distraction from what everyone's going to be discussing. So by the time the conference is over with, it's not going to be a very long conference anyway. So, excuse me. So we will see. But I definitely think that what happens next is going to judge exactly what will happen to these, these companies, because no doubt about it, THQ's acquirements have been rather amusing so far, and if Sega does indeed get these, it could mean a difference between a better situation for the company. But we'll see. But I don't know what's going to be taking place. Like, all I know is that the hearing on the a sales hearing is supposed to be happening tomorrow morning on the auction. So what will become of the things up for grabs will be known by then. I think everything will be set in stone at that point, because that's going to be official. That's official stuff right there. But it can't. I really don't think jumping to conclusions is something that can be necessarily done at this time. But I would think it is safe to say that some things may be more set in stone than others. More details set in stone, more set in stone than others. So I don't know yet. I really, really don't know yet. Time will tell. So, but nevertheless, I think at this point I may go ahead and end the coverage, because I can definitely see that there isn't a whole lot going on, and it may be maybe a lull at this point. So before I do end the stream, I want to relay the information again that is known at this time in Sega's behalf. About Sega, related to Sega. Currently, there is a big story going on. Rumors are circulating because today was the day that the auction for THQ's assets was supposed to be unfolding. They've been unfolding for about a few hours now. However, it was only recently discovered, about halfway in, I'd say about an hour ago, that Sega was considering getting Relic Entertainment, who does the Warhammer 40K games. Um, then, at first, it was that they bought them. Then it changed that they were at the auction right now as a expressing interest in getting it. Then it turned into Sega being the highest bidder for that asset, for Relic Entertainment. That was only recently. The was it the highest position? They're the leader. And then it got elaborated into more being the highest bidder. So, at this time, Sega is currently the highest bidder for Relic Entertainment, which, like I said, does the 40K Warhammer series games. Now, I don't know what the outcome of this will be. There could be more to it than this. It could be the complete opposite. But right now, it seems like there are rumors going around, and there are secondhand accounts hinting that Sega has, at the very least, obtained an interest in getting these games. Or not the games, but the company. But whether it'll follow through is something I don't know yet. I don't think any of us know for sure yet. So I don't know. But I just don't know at this point otherwise, but it has been discovered that because at the outcome of the auction is discovered that Sega actually has more in their reserve on behalf of Sega Sammy than we initially thought. It turns out that Sega's financial woes may not be as bad as we thought either, because of Sega, especially because of Sega Sammy. But it's something that we can't get too overly excited on, but it is something that we can do a fist pump over, because it means that Sega is definitely not going to be going bankrupt anytime soon. So those are the two things that really have come out of this whole affair, and they are the reason why we will see what happens. But for now, I think that's going to cut this coverage for now. I've been going for 52 minutes, almost an hour, so nothing really worth stating. Also, I apologize if my audio is really loud. Let me turn that down. There we go. It's a bit late, but hell with it. I will state that right now, there will more than likely be more details coming out from this auction, as more rumors and secondhand accounts and etc. etc. But I would say that do expect some pretty notable details coming out within the next 12 or so hours. Maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less, depending on when the hearing is exactly in terms of the time zone. But needless to say, it's some pretty interesting details coming out, and keep a close eye out on Twitter, because I will be continuing to relaying details as they come out. I will not actually go live again unless, until maybe after the hearing, so I can do a, relay post follow-up, or a follow-up report on the hearing results. But for now, I will be ending it here, the coverage stream. As like I said, there's a big lull in the stream, so I do expect that more details will be leaking out as the night progresses, and then things will be concrete once the sales hearing unfolds, and we then know exactly what the scale of sales were. So for now, I will take my leave for now. But like I said, keep a close eye out on Twitter for the latest news on this whole affair. And if there's anything that really needs to be noteworthy, I will go and start the stream up again. But as of now, I don't think there's anything worth stream worthy at this point. So the details have calmed down for now. The storm is the calm, like the eye of the storm right now, I guess. But needless to say, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you soon for more, streams, I'm sure. This is a pretty big coverage stream. I did not expect this to be on the scale it did. But congratulations, guys. You saw the first breaking news stream of 2013. So there you go. For now, though, take care for now, guys. We'll see how this whole affair unfolds. But yeah, take care for now.